We selected blind because we wanted to make sure that we built out a robust but diverse collection of plays. So I know that you and I can keep talking all night. What I want to do, since we're talking about PAPA Jennings, is bring up the playwright, Detroit's own Aseneth Elizabeth Parker. Mrs. Parker?
Come on, Miss Parker.
How are you?
Hey guys. I'm great. I'm having a wonderful time tonight, really.
Good. Well, cheers to you, because that show, I mean, it puts a smile on my face every single time I watch it.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. The actors brought the characters to life. Trust me. I keep saying to you that some of those are my family members. They were spot on.
Some of those were our family members. I mean, I felt like I was like, is that my auntie? Can you do me a favor? You mentioned this to Alexis and I before. You are really familiar with these characters, right? Like, you've been working on Aggie and May and Lily for a while. Can you talk to us about that journey?
Yeah, I started creating them in like 2000. Mm-hmm. And they started out in, I don't know if you're familiar with the Michigan Front Page, Sam Logan. It was a newspaper that he started, right? Mm-hmm. And I ran down there and I had just a little something about the Jennings. And he said, this is good. Why don't you put that in, write it as a soap opera in the Michigan Front Page? And I did for a couple of months, well, maybe 6 months I wrote in there. And they just started to develop. They developed a lot. Some of their older friends were special. And so as time went on, they just developed. Now, I stopped writing for a while. But when I started going to the Detroit Playwright Lab, the Jennings came back up. And I thought, oh, okay. And that was the first thing I wrote when I joined the Detroit Playwrights Lab.
You know, that's fantastic. I know Alexis and I are both writers, and we know sometimes the difficulty in building characters and living with them and making sure that their character arcs are consistent. You've been working on these characters now for a while. What has it been like for you to grow with them over time?
Oh my God. You know, when I started out, I thought I knew them. But as time has progressed, I have grown. And I started to see, you know, because we're every character we write about, right? And they started speaking to me. And I started to realizing that the cranky Lily, the one that worries and needs attention, is that really me? And then May, who is like real special, she's uppity, she's the educator, she's a Delta, she's the whole thing. And I'm like, is that me? So as I have grown, they have grown, and I'm still working on them. They're kind of scaring me because they're going in another direction now. But I'm so excited that you guys like them.
I just need to take a brief pause to say, did you just say that May was a Delta? Because I have Deltas in my family, Miss Parker.
Okay.
So let's just quick shout out to the Deltas. I mean, all Black Greek, but you know what I'm saying?
I mean, shout out to all Black Greek. We got some Deltas in the White House right now, actually.
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was May, but May was special because she looks at herself as being far more educated, more sophisticated than Lily. And Lily's just street. She's just ghetto. She grew up in the hood. So that's, but she needs attention. And May gets tired of that. So over the years, they've evolved into, in fact, what I'm writing right now, they're coming together. And all I'll say is they're coming together because they're starting to notice that May is being treated differently because she's older. And Lily's starting to see that there's discrimination even in their house. And, you know, I don't want to get too deep into that, but, you know, as our parents get older, we watch out for them a little more. We don't want them to do this. We don't want to do that. And that takes away from their independence. And May and Lily are now fighting for that. So we're going to see how that works out.
I mean, so you took us, I had a question in my head, and then I heard when you were just talking about one of the things that we've really worked hard on, and this has been something that, Alexis has helped keep us honest on the entire festival is how do we present diversity even within the Black experience, right? So one show is not the Black experience. 2 or 3 shows or stories aren't the full breadth of the Black experience, right? What you're talking about is growing with these characters as they face ageism, really, and ageism kind of layered on top of their own of the own biases that they feel and they deal with. Can I ask how much of that comes from you watching or dealing with any personal experiences, whether they're with family or friends, and bringing that into your work?
Lily, it was basically taken from an aunt, my father's twin sister. She grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and she was born like 1912. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine what life was like for a young girl at that time. Yeah. And I always said about my aunt that if she had had the education, she would have been one of the first African-American judges because she was quick, sharp, and you could see it in all the things that she did, but she never had the opportunity. The other lady, May, is kind of like my mom, my mom was very, people called her bougie. Back in the day, bougie was a bad word when I came up. It's like, because I grew up in the hood. But my mom carried herself that way. So I got a chance to see kind of both of them, but they both came from the South. My mother came from Columbus, Mississippi. But there's a thing that they came up here with. There's this pride. No matter what they went through, they had this pride. My mom was very proud. We didn't have any grass in our backyard. We had a dirt backyard. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but we had a dirt backyard, okay? And my mother, you would have thought we lived in the White House. Same thing with Aunt Ollie. The same thing. So growing up, I got a chance to see what they came through and the stories. I miss hearing stories from older people because they have so much. And now I'm kind of getting to that place where people are looking for me to give stories, but their stories were rich.
Go ahead, Alexis. You're about to say something. Speak. You know I will. So.
You guys are so hilarious.
We've known each other for a long time.
We have.
Okay.
We've known each other for a long time. I just have to quickly go in and edit something that was said earlier because my father's mother would be rolling in her grave. My father's mother was an AKA. On my mom's side, we have all the Deltas. And Madam Vice President is actually an AKA.
Is she really? Oh, well, you can tell that see, I'm about to get a text message from my auntie right now.
Okay, oops. I just like, ooh, but
okay, yeah, fix that.
Black Greek. Sorry, I digress. But I think what's so interesting about one of the things that's so interesting about what you were saying, Ms. Parker, is that no matter where you live, what your socioeconomic status is or your demographic, bouginess or confidence or knowledge of self-worth and a demand for something better exists everywhere. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter where you reside. It matters what's inside of you. And what's interesting is that what I loved about oh my gosh, now I'm Lily, is that she just we all have something to learn from each other, right? Yeah. What I love from both of them, really from all of the people that were all of the characters, not the characters that came alive by the actors, is that they all said what they had to say. They maybe said it in different ways. I will never put the Justisonied, but jettisoned. But you know what I'm saying? They all expressed themselves and had unique perspectives, and they made sure that they were heard. And I feel like that's something that, especially for us as Black people, a lot of times we're compartmentalized. So it's if I don't speak a certain way, or if I'm from X, Y, and Z, then when I'm going out into the world, maybe I'm not treated the same way, or I'm looked at like I'm not as smart, cultured, or whatever. John uses a lot of SAT words. I don't. But you know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that I'm not smart because I don't use use SAT words. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna fold my hands. This is the signal that John can take over
No.
now.
Go ahead, Ms. Parker.
I was just going to say, this experience for me, I wanted to tell you guys, it made me think how, as African Americans, our history is not the prettiest. It's jaded, it's dark. But because of what we've gone through and because of who we are, we don't have the opportunity to look at life through rose-colored glasses, and yet we come up with things that show both the light and the dark, the rich and the poor. And just working with you guys for this very brief period of time, I started to appreciate the theater a little more, especially Black theater. It starts to touch and pull at your heart. And you don't really know, you don't know what you don't know until you hear it. You don't know what you feel, and that's what happens. That's what's been happening with me and working with you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys. You are so awesome. I wanted to say too that I love Sister Cities program, and I'm so glad that you're doing that, because when Detroit Public Schools, when they took the arts out and the sports out, I wondered what was going to happen to our kids. And so now with Sister Cities and the Detroit Public School Foundation, those things are so encouraging. So I would like to say, I'd encourage anyone to become a part of that, because we need that in all of our sister cities here in Detroit, you know, Chicago, Baltimore, wherever. We need that. We really need that.
Well, I mean, listen, thank you, Ms. Parker. I know that that's a program that we've worked really hard to put together. For those of you that aren't aware, we've been offering educational programming every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the past 5 weeks leading up into the festival. Our arts education coordinator, Saray Daniels, is going to come on tomorrow and talk a little bit more about what that was. But you, Ms. Parker, too, as a playwright in the community, as a mentor in the community, really have had such a huge hand in being able to be there and be a positive example. I'm wondering, as you built these characters, as you built this show in specific, what was it? Because it's a potentially sad topic, right? Somebody has passed on, but the play itself is hilarious, and so I'm wondering about that juxtaposition from you, how you managed to work through that pain in a way that had so much levity.
Okay, so this is what happened. Mm-hmm. I worked at a church, and I had to perform funerals. Oh. And if you've been to an African American funeral, you already know there's drama. And see, there you go. And they're sad, but I had a pastor say to me, "You have to learn how to find the funny in church." And that's how this happened. I've seen the drama. I've seen all of that, and it's not funny at the time. But then when you think about it a little bit later, it's okay. Why did she do that? You know, why are they trying to get in the casket? What is that about? That's funny now. It's not funny when you're seeing it, but that's how that happened, because I've seen both sides of it, and that part of my brain is kind of.
And also, I feel like, I'm sorry, Aseneth. I'm sorry, Ms. Parker.
Okay. I'm done.
Mom and Dad, they're watching and they're like, "You did not just call her by her." I'm sorry, Ms. Parker. But
they raised right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am, they did. So what you were saying about, and you know, John, your question, and you know, talking about how they were telling you to find the funny. I feel like, to tie in your previous statement about the light and the dark, that we've never been able, that as Black people, we've never been able to see the world with rose-colored glasses. That I feel like laughter is something that has become really important to us as a community, and finding the funny, because there has been so much that's been difficult. And so it's almost like a survival tool that we're able to. I mean, even Kevin Hart, like, laugh at my pain, right? Like, it's a whole, it's a whole thing that I don't know if that's unique to us, but is definitely consistent no matter where you are in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't say that it's unique to us, but it's like making a dish. We have a way of seasoning food that most cultures don't, right? And so that's how we view things, with a lot of seasoning, a lot of spice. We put it in there. And that's how we can do that. That's how we can laugh when some people are crying. That's how we can add on top of our pain. We can do the joy. We can do it. I had a lot of pain coming, even when I was writing the characters. I lost my daughter. And for a while, I could not speak. I couldn't write. The characters were so quiet. They weren't speaking to me. I had nothing. And then going back to the lab, being around creative people, other writers, the Jennings started to speak to me again. And it's funny that that's how they come out. That's just how they come out. They're that way, and that helps me to cope with everything. Just like everything we see on TV now. Some things are sad, but then, we know how to laugh. And we just do know how to find the levity in a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, Ms. Parker, one, condolences on your loss, but two, thank you so much for giving us this work. Whenever an artist entrusts a production team, directors, producers with their work, we take that very seriously. And so we just want to thank you for PAPA Jennings is Gone. It's going to be up on our website, on our platform, on YouTube. You can find it at obsidianfest.org for the next 8 weeks. Family, come and check it out. This play is going to make you laugh. And hopefully help you heal. So, Aseneth Elizabeth Parker, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Parker.
You guys. And thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.